I pretended to be a woman for 6 months in 2017, and I stole about $7,000 from a guy in Florida whose name was Tom. He had 2 kids. I'm just kidding. I didn't actually do that. I thought it'd be cool to do like a cold open where as if I'm coming clean in my catfish story. Because today we're talking about MTV Catfish and some of the craziest stuff that's happened in regard to that. And also, why is this a thing? MTV is a network that has been thriving since the early 80s with constant strange entertainment that started off as music television. But now it's strange entertainment, sort of like the Learning Channel that we talked about a couple months ago. Outside of TLC, MTV stands at the top of the hill due to its strangeness of content that is broadcast on the network. In 2012, a show was created called MTV Catfish, the TV show about online dating and the complications of meeting people in real life because people online are not always who they say they are, and they're crazy! Comment down below if you've ever been catfished. I know this has happened to a lot of people. Old people especially, it seems like it happens to, or desperate people or incels, so my audience basically. So what exactly is MTV Catfish, precocious viewer, you may ask? It is an American reality TV show.
Cause I'm a Donna's bitch.
That obviously first aired on MTV.
Hi. Ew, what the
in November of 2012.
No, absolutely did. Like, I gotta be boo-boo the fool.
And it continues to this day. It has been immensely popular since its initial release and has had almost 250 episodes air and see the light of day.
Hey.
The concept of the word catfish, speaking more to the general vibe of the show, came from a 2010 movie titled Catfish, which follows the story of a man who got catfished on Facebook, and it led him down a dark and disturbing path. Since then, the term has become popular in today's society, and it's made its way all the way to television. You got catfished. It's like a thing, right? I never really even thought of sort of where it might have come from. In my mind, oh, you got catfish. That just makes sense because like catfish are, wait, what are they don't have anything to do with that. How does that even work?
This monster is a catfish.
How about muskalunged? You got muskalunged. They're harder to catch than catfish. What the fuck? How about you just got lied to and manipulated and your life got ruined? The premise of the show was someone would reach out to the production crew stating that they were emotionally attached to someone, but they had never even seen them. Then, if the person got approval from MTV, they would send out their crew to their home and they would do a lot of research to find out the truth behind the person on the other end of the television screen or the computer screen, I guess, to see if this fool was getting catfished. These idiots. There's so many idiots. Idiots. The end goal of the research is to always reveal whether or not the person that the person is talking to is a catfish or a real person. It's a good idea for a TV show, in all honesty. Like, that's a solid idea. It even continued during COVID when everything was shut down. It just took place on Zoom. The whole idea is insanely dramatic, and the reveals make for extremely entertaining content.
Even like if I did get with your boyfriend, it wouldn't matter because I would have done it much better than you anyway.
Me like you, this show. Just kidding, I hate the show. I hate anything that has to do with MTV or TLC or all this stuff. It's all just hate watching. It's just like, I wish the show would burn. I don't care that much, but it is a terrible, mind-numbing idiot thing to watch. Just like this. You should just click off this and go watch something else. The show is hosted by Nev Schulman and Max Joseph. Who are these guys? I don't know. They hosted it for the first 7 seasons before removing Max and adding Cameron Crawford, another guy. And by God, I tell you what, this guy, Cameron Crawford, a legend. Oh wait, that's the wrong Cameron Crawford. We're looking at Cammie Crawford, the hostess of the show. Yeah. She's pretty cool. During season 7, finishing out the show, they had numerous other hosts, including singer Ellie King, actress Salita Ebanks, NBA player Nick Young, actress Kimiko Glenn, and even Machine Gun Kelly, guys. Friend of the show, Paul and Katie. This story is awesome, and it is about a man named Paul with his fiancée Samantha, 10 years on, who hit up Catfish to ask them for some help. You see, they've been together for 8 years and they've got 3 children together, but Paul had been talking about a girl from his past, his first love, a girl named Katie, whom he met on Xbox, and they talked to each other for 2 years. By the way, once again, 10 years on. This is 10 years ago that they're talking about here. Samantha had found out that Paul had talked to this girl a long time ago. He even sent her a message because she's a nosy bitch, I guess. But when she talked with her, she stated that she had never talked to Paul before, ever. And she's tired of hearing about it, and she wants the team to get rid of this dream Paul had of his first love and move on with their life, because he's like still hooked up on Katie for some fucking reason. I don't know what is going on in the show, because he's still like hung up on this old gal, but he's still got the love of his life. Find her in a bee's wing, all right? Find her in a bee's wing, Paul thought of Katie. So they call Samantha and they talk with her, and she tells the story that she sees Paul scrolling through Instagram talking to this girl named Katie. So they talk to Samantha a bit more and they ask for her to go get Paul, to which he sits down and introduces himself. The team then asks if this has been messing with their relationship at all, and he responds, no, but his fiance doesn't seem to share the same answers.
How is this affecting you guys, or is it affecting you guys?
No, not at all.
So they're not like, he's not cheating on her per se, but he's talking to an old fling, an old Xbox fling, his first love. My first love was the game. Paul's first love was a catfish named Katie. So they ask for Paul to tell the story, and Samantha says that she's going to let Paul take over, and she steps away. Paul then gets down to fucking business. He tells the team that he met this girl, Katie, when he was 16 years old. So it's a long time ago. He says that they exchanged phone numbers and they talked. They even had a phone call for 30 fucking hours once.
I mean, we had a phone call for 32 hours at one point. I mean, 32 hours. I mean, it was days.
How was that possible? I have no idea. But they were in love with each other, okay? And they talked all the time. She was there for him. He would get made fun of at school and drop out to work. He was a loser. He was getting crazy with her. She would send him packages of games, Xbox, and dude, sugar mama.
She was sending me Xboxes and iPods and video games before they even hit the shelves.
Are you kidding me? This is every 16-year-old's dream, to find a girlfriend on Xbox for one, and then she starts getting obsessed with you and calling you and sending you gifts and shit. From what Paul understood, though, of Katie, her parents had died. So she had all this money, but yet not enough for a webcam, because he never found out exactly what she looked like. So things seemed off, obviously. And after a while, they fell out of contact after Katie literally stood him up. So he moved on with his life. Then fast forward 10 years and then go back 6 months. He found her on social media and sent her a message, but she had no clue who he was. His cope is that she was saying things like that because he blew her off after she tried to contact him again later on. So they like were really petty and they blew each other off. And then 10 years goes by and he's like, hey, you know, I'm sorry about all that stuff. And she's like, who are you? The guy, it's the Skyrim opening on the trailer. So they ask Paul if it could have just been a catfish or some shit like that, and he says there's no chance. The reason, though, that he says there's no chance is because he would receive provocative nudes.
I mean, there was honestly too many pictures. I mean, there was provocative pictures she had sent me.
Full nude?
Yeah.
What?
With her face in it?
With her face and her whole body. I mean, whole body.
So the team says they'll do some investigating, and they leave the call. They then talk about how he still isn't over Katie and wants to fix this so Samantha and Paul can close their relationship and he can actually get married to her, and they, you know, he can move on completely from Katie, because he's hung up on her, dude. He's hung up on her. It makes sense, right? That's pretty traumatic and weird, and you know, she wasn't even real. So, sorry, Paul, you f***ing idiot. A bit later, after some investigation and some time passes, they find Katie, the real Katie.
It links to this Facebook page. Whoa.
Wedding photo.
Oh my.
That's her.
And they add her to the call. Katie joins, and something incredibly bizarre happens. She says not everyone is on the call yet, and she runs off screen.
Wait. That was weird.
And who are we waiting for?
They're all sitting there wondering what the f is going on and who could possibly be missing. Then another woman joins the call, and that's Martha, Katie's mom.
Hi.
Hi.
And they set the real truth on the table. Katie explains that she never met Paul before, but her mom has, and Paul was talking to Martha the whole time. She was the one catfishing Paul.
I was the one doing the catfishing.
Paul asks Martha if she knew how old he was at the time. He's 16 years old. She's an old lady. And yeah, that's crazy. Then the showrunners, the host, asks if Katie knew this was the case the whole time, and she says that she found everything out 2 years ago. Obviously wasn't that happy with her mom, but they're on good terms now. She was kind of mad that her mom was sending nudes of her to people on Xbox and stuff. That makes sense to be upset with, to be upset about, especially to minors. Is it illegal for you to text nudes of your daughter to a minor who's the same age? That's gotta be illegal, dude. That has to be like so many crimes. They ask Martha how long the facade of pretending to be Katie was, and Martha says it's been about, take a guess, how long? 7 years, dude.
When was the last time you were actively using the Katie disguise and sort of fake profile?
7 years ago? I don't remember exactly, Neve.
So it has been a while since you've done this.
Yes.
Martha then explains she went and saw a therapist, and the therapist said, "You're a crazy bitch, but you so good, I'm on top." Yeah, he didn't say that. That would be some kind of law that's broken, I think. But there's no valid explanation for talking to a young teen as a grown-ass weird woman and sending nudes and shit. That's so bizarre. Martha then begins her sob story, of course, because she has to become the victim or else she looks like a lunatic.
It started because I was in a really bad place in my life.
Her excuse, it was because she was in a rough place in her life. She got divorced, her mom died, her oldest child went to college, and Katie left to go live with a boyfriend. Yep. Shut up! She was all alone, and during that time of loneliness, she talked to Paul and so much more, and she was like, well, I'm gonna start a relationship with this young boy, and I'm gonna pretend to be my daughter, so it's legal. She says that nobody has any idea in the world how lonely she was. The depths of her loneliness can only be felt by the great poets of our time. No layman could ever understand how deep her feelings went. What a pathetic sob story. I've never disliked someone in a TV show more. I probably have, but she sucks. Paul says she should have made a friend instead of a boyfriend, and he is quite literally shaking because he's so upset. I mean, he is very upset. I love watching people get upset like this.
Like, I'm literally shaking because I'm so pissed right now.
You have a right to be pissed.
Nev then asks Martha about Martha using the name of her daughter and pictures of her. And like, why wouldn't you just get new pictures, or why would you associate that with your own living daughter? Daughter? Martha explains she wasn't savvy enough to believe that what she was doing was wrong. But fortunately for Martha, she's lucky she was only talking to a 16-year-old because Paul was from Michigan and the age of consent is 16. So Martha gets to avoid jail. But I think sending the like nudes and stuff, I think that's still like disseminating CP and very, I don't know. That's really odd. That's that's worse than anything a YouTuber's really been canceled for, to be honest. Let's cancel Martha. Then they ask Martha why she was talking to people that young and what she possibly could have in common with them. And she responds with it being those specific dudes who would give her the most attention, to which Paul obviously states, yeah, because duh, he's a teenager and she's a hot old bitch.
Because those guys were the ones showing me the most attention and the most affection.
I mean,
and, you know, that's what I wanted.
So then they ask her how she got the photos of her own daughter.
She would go to sleep. I would go get her phone, and I would look through for any new or different photos, and I would send them to my phone, and then I would delete the sending off of her phone.
Which is psychopathic. That is literally psychopathic.
Wow.
That's insane, and that's illegal. Doesn't matter what the age of consent is. In any place. That is just, that's gotta be illegal. It's terrible. Unless, of course, the show is fake. But that's probably not the case. Martha did it to keep the deception going. You see, she was a sleeper agent. She was part of a terror cell, a Russian terror cell. And she had to make it believable to Paul, the Lisan al-Gaib, that she was in fact his love. So yeah, just to put it all in perspective, old woman's daughter moves away, she steals photos from her daughter's phone and then uses those photos and her daughter's name to talk to young men because she's lonely. That's horrifying. What a terrible witch of a woman. What a witch. It is a miracle that Katie even talks to her mom or forgives her or has even considered reconciling in any way. She didn't even have to see her mom's perspective. She just understood to a degree and forgave her despite it and moved on. That is big ball type shit. Big ball type shit, dude. Hell yeah. We try to be more like Katie. Just kidding. The fact that the woman was not in jail is sickening, and the fact that the mother and daughter could still even talk to each other is horrifying. Fans of the show wanted legal action taken against Martha for what she had done to many teens and her own daughter. The person who claimed to be Katie gave more details and answered some unanswered questions. One of the questions is that Martha had possibly catfished dozens of teen boys, potentially even internationally. There were also some claims that the pictures that her mom used weren't even taken when she was 18 years old, and they could have come when she was a minor, which is even more and just abhorrent and disgusting and demonic. I mean, the mom is a demon. This right here, this is a demon. This is Baphomet. More people asked questions about Martha in that episode and pointed out that she probably received photos back as well, which is mortifying. And there's no way that all the people she was talking to were like legal age. She was definitely doing something shady. And also just how demeaning is that for your daughter to just have like your body being shown against your, I mean, that's has to be 30 or 40 laws broken there. What a evil witch. And so far, the only embarrassment and public consequence and shame she's gotten is that she's been on MTV Catfished. She hasn't been charged, and I'm hoping that it stopped years later. But yeah, what a disturbing episode of a TV show. Holy wild crap. Spencer and Katie. Spencer is a grown-ass man who genuinely believes that he's gotten Katie to fall in love with him.
You obviously have high hopes for this episode.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be your best episode ever.
Not just any Katie, though. This man has received favor from the gods themselves, Katy Perry. Spencer believes that Katy Perry has fallen in love with him. And that's what today's episode of MTV Catfish is about.
Wait, time out. Is she not, like, with someone else now?
I think she is dating somebody, yes.
Who?
I think it's the elf from The Lord of the Rings.
Guys, do you think it's the real Katy Perry? Comment down below. By the way, not just a harmless fever dream, not just a crazy guy like, this is probably not Katy Perry, like this is crazy. This guy actually believes he is talking to Katy Perry. He is in this genuine belief, and it's not just for cameras. The man, the myth, the legend Spencer said he's been talking to Katy for over 6 years, dude.
Because I've been talking to her for 6 years, just the millions and millions of details, little stories like when she's growing up that only Katie would know.
They've constantly chatted back and forth with each other, sharing funny jokes, loving, learning, growing together, stories, and just overall caring for each other, dude. He is such a lucky guy. Eventually, Katie said that she was ready to go all in and have a relationship with Spencer, taking things to the next level. However, after that, she all of a sudden shut everything down only a few weeks after the relationship became official. Now, Spencer has decided to reach out to the Catfish team looking for help, seeing if they could connect him with Katy Perry to find out who exactly this mysterious person he's been talking to for the last 6 years actually is. Is it Katy Perry? Hey, bud, it's not, all right? It's not. I know that already, all right? I know that it's not her. He stated on the call that he genuinely thinks it's Katy Perry, and he has for the last 6 years. This guy's a dweeb. Holy shit. He's been talking to this bitch for 6 years, thinking it's Katy Perry. Nah, dude, that's a random Indian guy, okay? This guy is in a constant, just remarkable state of denial that there is no chance that this is not Katy Perry. It has to be her. It literally is Katy Perry. Unfortunately for this situation, there is not footage for everything, but as the incredibly interested person that I am, I watched the entire episode. And this guy is absolutely insane. He believes he has spoken back and forth through emails and texting to Katy Perry, and his biggest piece of evidence is apparently Katy Perry sent him early music before it was even released. That's his biggest evidence, which is just insane. Unfortunately, when investigated, we quickly realized this falls apart fast, as these links are to just random YouTube videos of people who had posted them, not an actual track posted by Katy Perry or leaked by Katy Perry. It's not like one of those iPhone sound bites that artists post up on their story or whatever. But that aside, nothing is more shocking than what would come out of Spencer's mouth when asked if there were talks about moving in together in California with her. He states that they talked about having kids, getting married, etc. What the fuck? And Spencer says that things are so serious he has a ring to give her. A real ring, guys. Not a ring pop like in 3rd grade, an actual ring. He took out of his great-grandmother's jewelry collection. He created the ultimate ring. It's no joke. It's 25% of this guy's savings. He says this. It's 25%. He's insane. I'm starting to believe that this fella might actually think this is Katy Perry. So the guys with MTV Catfish then get to work and investigate the person that is so-called Katy Perry. Using the phone number that Spencer gave them to try and track down the supposed Katy Perry, when they cross-reference emails, they're able to find a woman by the name of Harriet. They find out this woman is from England, living in Gloucester, originally from Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. They communicate with Harriet's friend, who is actually an ex-girlfriend, and she states that Harriet is 100% a lesbian and therefore not interested in men. So even if all of this was a love story, Harriet would not be interested in Spencer because she's not interested in men, because she's a lesbian, guys. And also, she's not Katy Perry. The pieces are slowly coming together, and with the newfound data, the boys go back to Spencer's place and sit with him with a surprising guest. And that guest is Spencer's brother, Sam, who Spencer finally tells who he is in love with. His brother makes the funniest face in the world when he hears the breaking news that his brother is a idiot. He then tells Sam that he has made a ring for her using their great-grandmother's emerald in a diamond band, and you can imagine the exact same face shown before, but played again, just pure confusion on his face. So they split up, and Sam ends it with promises he won't tell their mom, because this is just becoming incredibly embarrassing and just sad. Now, I feel bad a little bit. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel pity. I just feel like I shouldn't be this is like watching, I don't know, it's illegal. It seems like it's illegal. It seems like it shouldn't be a thing. Now, the team finally shows Spencer what they have found, and they show him the name of the woman and the person behind the screen he's possibly been talking to this whole time. Guess what, guys? Not Katy Perry! Even with all this sitting on the table, Spencer is in disbelief, and he doesn't think it's her because this woman talks about loving Lady Gaga, and Spencer knows Katy so well that she actively dislikes Lady Gaga, so it cannot be her. Then they showed Spencer the Facebook profile for this person they found, which they found pictures and even Katy Perry and fan art that Katy Perry, the real one, had liked. Uh-oh. Connections to Katy Perry, this is bad. Even with seeing pictures of this woman, the connections, everything, he's still in complete and total utter denial for some reason, and states the person he was talking to talks nothing like how Harriet is talking. Oh my God, this guy's so frustrating. So to really find out if this truly is the woman that he has been speaking to, the boys take him to England to find this mysterious old bird, and who may or may not, by the way, be Katy Perry.
Hello? Harriet, I presume.
Yeah.
Neve, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Max.
I'm Harriet.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Harriet.
Spencer.
Hi.
They finally meet face to face, and to literally no one in existence's surprise, it is not Katy Perry, and no, Katy Perry is not there. It's not Ashton Kutcher. It's not Punk'd. It's nothing. It gets very awkward when they ask her if she knows Katy Perry, and she says no and laughs kind of jokingly.
You don't know Katy Perry?
No.
Anything to say to me?
No. I'm sorry, I guess.
You can see it hurts Spencer's soul. And this is just evil. Why would you steal so much time from someone pretending to be? It's crazy. Spencer then says how the vibes feel off, and this is their first time meeting after 6 years. There's little to no excitement at all. It just feels wrong. Then a bombshell. He asks this girl where they met, and she says, the app. And this causes Spencer to respond in the following way.
Where did we meet again?
On the app.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not her. Oh my God. When they ask him who else it possibly could be, he says, Katy Perry. Everyone is shocked by this guy, even the cameraman.
Who else could it be?
I mean, really, Katy?
You can't possibly think it's still Katy Perry.
I do.
The producers tell Harriet to pop this man's bubble and tell him that he was not talking to Katy Perry. She tells him his middle name is Ray and starts, spilling the beans on stuff that only she would know if they talked for 6 years. Spencer then digs deeper, though, and asks her what the kids' names were going to be that they talked about having together.
It was Laika, Luca, something else. Start with L, probably.
It's not her.
He then says, it's not her. Again. Another bombshell! And that's because she didn't know the third and final name of the 3 children. But she got the other 2. She quickly responds, boss, But Spencer is still in denial, guys. And the worst part is he's wearing the ring he was going to give Katy Perry on he's got it on his finger. It's on his pinky. So bizarre. I hate this so much. So yeah, they separate them. Harriet was kind of being rude to this guy who she wasted 6 years of his life talking to him. And they bring Spencer aside for a personal interview to just kind of talk in depth about what had happened. They promise him that this is the person who was playing him. And he says that the energy and how she talked didn't match the person who he was originally talking to. It's like, there's no way, this is not, something's off. She's not Katy. She's not Katy Perry. Therefore, it's not true. It gets really sad. Spencer is crushed, and they tell him he needs to face the reality that this isn't Katy Perry, and the girl that he was talking to wasn't even in love with him.
There's no Katy Perry at the end of this rainbow. There's not even a girl who's in love with you. I think you really need to spend some time accepting that.
This is the biggest L I think I've ever seen anyone take on television. It's really sad. Very pathetic. The next morning, they sit him down to talk to him again, and they ask him on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident is he that he's talking to the real Katy Perry?
How confident are you that you're talking to Katy Perry?
Like a 1, I guess, probably.
Okay, that's progress.
And Spencer has faced reality and says it's a 1 out of 10 chance, which is good for reality. That's a W for reality, but still an L for Spencer. He states he was gullible and fell into it himself. They ask if there's anything he'd want to hear from her, and he asked for awareness and care of what he went through because it was never some joke to him. He genuinely did believe that it was Katy Perry. There was no emotion from her. He's absolutely crushed. What's still sad to me is that how both times he said, not her. No, not her. Katie's out there. She's about to run around the corner. It's not her. It's not her. No way. No, she didn't know the 3 names, dude. No. Hot sauce, my middle name? No. How sad is that? It's like incredibly sad. So they tell Spencer that they're going to talk to her one-on-one without him there. So maybe something else would come from it. Maybe there would be more of a resolution for him and her, Harriet, obviously. So they sit down with this evil bitch and ask how she's feeling, and she responds she's feeling better, less nervous. She believes there was a lot left unsaid, and they tell her the most difficult portion of all of this for Spencer to wrap his head around was that their personalities were so different. Katy Perry's personality and her personality were so different, and he's upset when she realizes that she's not kind and she's actually a lesbian bitch. So, that really eats away at him a lot. And this is where stuff gets very crazy because we know they've been talking for 6 years, all right? And Harriet doesn't look that old. Harriet doesn't look like a super old lady. Harriet actually started talking to Spencer when she was young, around 12 years old. So a 12-year-old girl was talking to an adult man pretending to be Katy Perry and kept it up for 6 years. She loved Katy Perry, guys. She wanted to be just like her. The confidence Katy Perry had and her fun personality. She stated that she couldn't believe he believed she was Katy Perry. He was the only one to believe it. And the fact that he believed it made it so much more personal for her. She wanted him in her life because he accepted her for who she was, Katy Perry. They then realize she's a totally different person from the day before, and she actually does care and feels bad for him. So they tell her she needs to step up today and be mature and take accountability for what she had done.
You need to kind of step up today with him and be mature about it and, be accountable, be responsible.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
They have a personal one-on-one finally, just Harriet and Spencer. He understands it was fun for a little while, but she wasted 6 years of his life and time, and she explained she lived in the middle of nowhere. She was alone from friends. She made friends online by pretending to be Katy Perry. Luckily, though, in the end, she does feel ashamed, and she couldn't imagine talking to anyone else because he made her feel so accepted and special. She explains that she's been through some hard times. Honestly, I don't give a f. I think she's insane. Her dad passed away 2 years ago. No excuse to ruin some poor guy's life pretending to be Katy Perry. This is so weird. Why is this the thing? Spencer, he's awesome. He talks to her and comforts her, genuinely feeling sorry for her, and she explains that talking to him throughout all of that was reassuring. It was good to actually just talk to someone. But then he recognized there was a strong connection between them, and they both do care for each other in spite of everything being based on lies, and Katy Perry not actually being there. And yeah, there's no chance that they end up with each other. She's also a lesbian, and I don't even know how she started pretending to be Katy Perry when she was 12. It's so weird. I just don't know how you talk to a 12-year-old, and that how do you fall for a 12-year-old pretending to be an adult famous woman? What? I could barely even form sentences when I was 12 years old. What the fuck? Hopefully Spencer will be fine. and he'll figure things out. The clip's on YouTube in there, but off screen on the actual episode, something insanely hilarious happens. After 2 months have passed since their meeting, they check in with Spencer to see how he's doing, and they ask him on a scale of 1 to 10 how much he believes he was talking to Katy Perry, and he responds that there's no chance that he was. They then ask him if he's had any comms with Harriet, and he says that he sent a few emails, but he's got no response. Then they decide to give her a call and ask about it to her. Harriet says the emails are not exactly what she expected. She did get the communication from him, but why didn't she respond? Why didn't she respond? Well, he talks about in his emails that he was confused as to why he didn't meet Katy Perry when he was in England. He met a girl there. He sent in those emails, "I love you," and more. They're very shocked. The guy is clearly insane, just as insane as the woman pretending to be Katy Perry. They immediately call Spencer again to ask him what the is going on, and Spencer says in their response to the questions that he was still doing some investigating and he wanted to be 200% sure. And now though, he is sure, and it was an email that he sent only a few days after coming home when he was still unsure, and he was still like, maybe there's still a chance. What an insanely wild, weird, up, completely unfortunate love story of just what? He's like an old man and she's 18 years old and they've been talking for 6 years. What the fuck? Mother Wolf and David. The following story is very confusing and probably the most difficult to understand of all of them, and I am getting a migraine even thinking about it again, and being able to explain it to you guys is going to be difficult, so you're gonna have to bear with me. All right, it's worth it. The payoff is absolutely worth it, but by God, this shit is wild. That being said, after I explain it, you'll still be confused. I'm confused. We went over this days ago. So, we begin, of course, how almost all of these stories begin, and that is from a message. Two hosts receive a message that talks about 20 years of longing from a woman named Mother Wolf, her real name being June. Mother Wolf, aka June, is a 53-year-old freelance dog sitter with 5 kids and 9 grandkids. She's been in an on and off again online relationship with a man named David from Orlando. She is from Pennsylvania. She's Amish. Just kidding. Red herring I gave you. She's not Amish. She's actually normal. These crazy old kooks met in an AOL chat room where he went as Warlock. He was always very kind and comforting to June, and when they called for the first time, his voice was deep and husky, so it gave her chills down her spine, she says. Over the years, they'd catch up with each other and continue talking, once again, on and off again. He was there always in her life, and even through hard times, even from her evolution from a solitary witch to a Satanist. No matter what, David was always there to hear Mother Wolf's cries when she would speak on the night winds. And after 20 years of talking, they still haven't met, and after the years, she wants him so bad. So, intrigued, the MTV Catfish team drove up to her place to meet with her and talk things out to get more information about this insane story. Mother Wolf lets the team into her home. They sit and chat for a bit, and then they ask her some questions. And these questions are crazy and awesome.
What, if any, spells have you attempted to use in regards to David? Can you inspire him to
Yes, we actually, it's called Speaking on the Wind.
I don't know what that means, and apparently he wasn't answering his messages when her mom passed, so she opened up the window and spoke to him.
And we do this little thing where it's like a little howl. It's just a real light, ooh. And he called me 30 minutes later. He said, I heard you.
But over a few months, Warlock would disappear, and then something would go on in Mother Wolf's life, and eventually Warlock would return to comfort her, like some kind of, guardian of a guardian angel, I guess. They would contact each other all the time, and just the day where they were interviewing her, Mother Wolf states she spoke to him the day before. So it's this really weird, irregular form of communication that they're partaking in, some in chat rooms, some in calling, some on the wind. She shows the team some pictures of him that he had sent. Big cock, I've got to say. But they never video chatted. They did call, but they never video chatted. No Discord. And he would come up with some excuse that he couldn't get a webcam, etc. Classic catfish shit. And after they leave, they use a reverse image search on the web to find more pictures of this guy, and they find some. However, this is from someone who doesn't seem to be David, but instead a user Sexy Rexy. Different guy entirely. And after more digging, they do find a David at the address she remembered, but no more information other than that. So then the team with Mother Wolf, breathing very heavily, try to contact David. They reveal themselves as the Catfish team.
How do you have his, oh, he's calling on Facebook. Okay, answer.
He answers the call, and she reveals that the team is just from Catfish, and they're trying to figure out how to meet up and connect, and David doesn't seem to be pleased.
Don't take this the wrong way, because, you know, I love you. Let me just, think about it. All right.
And then the main guy butts in and asks some questions, and David still seems hesitant. After revealing that they know he's in Orlando, Florida, the phone hangs up, and Mother Wolf is devastated.
Just before we go, last thing, you're in Orlando, Florida, right? So.
Nev tells her that he doesn't care if he calls back. He's ready to take her down to Florida to meet this mysterious man, and he holds his end of the promise. And it looks like Mother Wolf's gonna have a heart attack. They arrive to the house, crew on the grass. David answers the door, and it is not who we expected at all. David approaches Mother Wolf and speaks with her, and she's super happy to finally meet him, yet David seems slightly uncomfortable. Nev then asks what other information David is hiding, because this is clearly not the David from the pictures. David then drops the biggest curveball I've ever seen or heard in my life.
Actually, I'm Denise, and I just basically role play David.
He clarifies that he does love her, but David is not David. David is a character made up. But when they are David, they do love her. But when they are not David, they don't. And then there's a voice change. And what the fuck? So David comes out of the house. He clarifies that he does love her, but David is not David. David is a character that is made up. But when this guy is David, they do love her. But when they're their real self, they're just Denise. And you can tell by the insane voice change. They role play as David. They're actually Denise, not David. Denise says that David does love June, and when Denise is David, he is David. He does love you, but only when he's David. When she's David, they are David. However, when David, the character, is gone, AKA Denise, is there, Denise does not love June. Denise is a straight woman who loves men, and Denise has no interest in Mother Wolf, only with David. But David is interested in Mother Wolf, 20 years in the making, and David loves Mother Wolf. They come back after all is said and done, and Denise looks very different, and they say that David was created because of harassment in chat rooms, because being a woman was constant harassment. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, I don't really know what the is going on at this point, and Denise is straight and has no interest in being in a relationship with Mother Wolf. But then Denise drops another bombshell after that. Denise is also a character, and their legal name isn't even Denise, and Denise doesn't want to share their legal name. So everyone is confused as to what the is going on and who this person is. Mother Wolf has immediately come to terms with it and is ready to close that chapter of her life, as sad as she may be. She will no longer be speaking on the night winds with David, aka Denise, aka the Riddler. So 2 months goes by, the team calls Mother Wolf and they ask her how she's doing. She says she and David have been in touch, and it's David, not Denise. David.
Have you and David been in touch?
Yes.
Oh.
And David had called June on the phone, and they talked for a long time, and that was David, and they're ready to carry on the relationship, and she knows where the door is if things don't work out. This is confusing. So basically, to sum it all up, because I understand it really well now, David was not a real person, but a character created by Denise. However, Denise wasn't a real person either, but a character as well. There were also other characters too. This is what's happening to children on TikTok. You know, it's pretty wild. Fake disorder cringe. Denise even pretended to be Dee Dee, David's imaginary ex-wife that lived with him. So yeah, there's no explanation at the end of all this. There's no David, there's no Denise, none of it's all real. None of it's real, it's all fake, and it's mind-boggling, and I love it. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Yo, smash like, press that share button, hit refresh, watch the video again, go to sour.gg, buy some candy, go to the Gum Club, watch the full video with better watching shit, and thank you all for watching.